that Roman there. Okay. What part of the story of Romulus and Remus make it a legend? So we talked about a little bit of this, but think about back to that idea of a legend. What are some of the things that make this story a legend? Joey.
That it takes place in a real place.
Yeah, so that's that. Aiden. Close it. That's part of it. It's taking place in a real place, right? Rome is a real place. Great. Haley, what else is part of the story that makes it a legend?
That is Romulus is kind of a hero because he's at Rome.
Yep, Romulus is going to be that hero in the story, right? He builds Rome. He's the one that's creating this city of Rome, or that really ends up becoming this large empire. Yes, Tyler.
They both are pretty famous.
They're famous, right? They're legendary characters. That story of Romulus and Remus has been told once? No. This story goes back to the beginning, right? So that lets us know what about this legend?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
2,500 years ago.
2,500 years ago it took place, but how do we all of a sudden know the story?
It's been passed down.
It's been passed down over and over again. And that happens with legends. It's told over and over again. They said this is still a very popular bedtime story for Roman children. They're still hearing about how their city and that empire was created by these two brothers. What is the theme of the read aloud? So remember, we think back to what we want in to make it a legend, and we think about that theme. What is the theme to this story? That theme is a lesson. What lesson can we take from this story? Or at least did the Romans take from the story? We might not be able to, but they did. Zoe?
Never fight.
Maybe part of it, like don't fight with those people that you could. So we kind of take that away. But remember, the Romans took something very important away from this, right? Cooper?
You should not let compassion get the best of you.
Okay, so we're reading it right off there, right? Not letting competition get the best of you. Good. Rome also learned through all of this that they needed to what? Protect themselves, right? They learned that they needed to make sure that they were keeping protected. How would you summarize the legend of Romulus and Remus? Now, I'm going to give you a moment to kind of work through this with a neighbor. When you're summarizing, you can start to think of some of those sequence of events that you guys wrote down as well. And I want you to work with your partner to go from the beginning of our story and just give a quick overview of what happened through the end. Go ahead and take a moment to share.
First he told the
third graders, in just a moment, you are going to get with a partner, or you are going to, in other words, you're going to be working on filling out this organizer. So we can all look up at our board and see what I'm talking about here. We have not filled out for our listening the characters. Notice for our reading, it gave us the character and a little bit what we knew about them. I know this is typed, but is it written super big? No. You need to take note of how to do that. We're starting to write a little bit smaller so we can fit it. Write down the important characters from our read aloud. You're going to work with a partner on this so that you guys can be on task. Write the setting. When did the story take place? And what is the lesson we can take away from our story as well, okay? You're going to work with a partner to complete this. This section of it should only take you about 5 minutes, okay? The next thing you're going to do then is you're going to talk with your neighbor, and you're just going to have some discussions about the story. Put your hand down. You're going to have some discussion about it, and you have 2 questions. The first piece is clarify. In the space below, record any questions that you have or questions that came up during discussion with your partner. So talk about the events of the story. Talk about what happened. What lingering questions do you still have? And if you can't think of questions, write down what you discussed about, okay? The next piece, because I have people who are going to say, well, I don't have questions, so do I have to do it? Do you have to write something?
Yes.
Definitely. The next piece is what I really want to see from you. And it says, why do you think the legend of Romulus and Remus is important to Romans? So when you answer that question right there, you can say, the legend of Romulus and Remus is important to Romans because, right? There's a second part to the question. How does the Tiber River play an important part in the story? The Tiber River is important because blank. Is it pretty important in the story?
Yes.
Definitely. From very beginning to the creation of Rome, that river has played a hugely important piece to this city's history. So think about how that was important in this story as well. You're going to work through this with a partner. To answer this last question, you're allowed to do it on your own. This piece and filling this out is with your partner. Sound good? I want to see what you guys can do. I want to see your writing come in, complete sentences. Okay? What do I want to see in your writing?
Complete sentences.
Fabulous.